Well, in 2018, in Aberdeen, Maryland, a trans shooter opened fire on a pharmaceutical distribution center.
So in 2018, there were approximately 340 mass shootings. One person would be the equivalent of less than 1/3 of 1%.
In 2019, a trans high schooler shot up his school in Denver.
In 2019, there was approximately 417 mass shootings. One person would be the equivalent of less than 1/4 of 1%.
And just back in November, a Colorado Springs nightclub was shot up by someone who identified as non-binary.
So last year, 2022, there was approximately 647 mass shootings. So one person would be the equivalent of basically 0.15 of a percent, which is about a tenth and a half of a percent. And finally, with the Nashville shooter, so far this year, there have been 131 mass shootings. So one person would be the equivalent of 0.76%. So basically 3/4 of a percent. So Jesse Watters had a congresswoman and an expert on to talk about this, and they both got a basic stat completely wrong.
Fact is that the activist and liberal media completely went silent after the fact that it was a fact that the shooter was a trans individual and that the last 4 mass shootings have involved trans individuals. So I think that...
And you pointed out there's been 4 trans mass shootings in the last 5 months, Jesse.
No, that's not what Jesse Watters just showed you. What Jesse Watters just showed you is that from 2018 to 2023, there's been a total of 4 shootings committed by people who could be labeled as trans. Now, according to the Violence Project, about 98% of all mass shootings are committed by men, and anyone who studies criminology knows that the vast majority of violent crime is committed by men and boys. Now, does that mean that we blame all men and boys for crime? Of course we don't. So why are we blaming all trans people for the actions committed by a handful of people?